So, I'm sure you guys have all seen one of these before. Yes, I do carry this just about everywhere I go. Next to my cell phone, it's one of those things I just can't live without. This bottle just represents me and who I am. So, although most people don't believe me when I say that I'm Hispanic, that is that both my parents are Mexican and I was born here in the U.S., it's true. I was born with blonde hair, blue eyes, and I was really light-skinned, and everyone always thought that I was white. Growing up in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, I was teased all the time. I was called white girl, I was called güera in Spanish, which means the same thing, and I always just laughed. I just laughed at them all the time, or I would laugh with them and say, yeah, I'm a white girl, whatever. It's not until I go to Mexico, or even like a Mexican supermarket or a Mexican restaurant, where people really start to stare at me like I don't belong. They're like, what is this white girl doing in here? And it's not until there's that one brave person who just decides to come up to me and then start speaking to me. And I can tell they're trying really hard, like they're trying really hard to speak English to me, and I just start speaking Spanish, and they stare at me like, wait, rewind, like, are you really Mexican? Are you Hispanic? Like, yeah. So, I always thought that being Hispanic was something that you had to know, so you knew what to fill in state testing, the little bubble. But I actually learned that it was more of a lifestyle. Speaking nothing but Spanish the minute I walked in the door of my house became a regular thing, and my mom would always yell at us every time we're at the dinner table and we would start to speak English. And I thought it was a bit annoying sometimes, be like, Mom, like, stop, we're speaking English, it's fine, like, you're not supposed to hear anyway. But I actually learned that, I learned to appreciate it, and now I'm bilingual, so it makes a lot of things easier for me, and I have the advantage of being bilingual and seeing the world in two different ways, the American way and the Mexican way. Comparing the two, I've grown to prefer the Mexican way, and it's benefited me in ways that I would have never imagined. I just went to Cabo this summer, like I told you guys, I went parasailing, and I noticed that it's a big difference. And just anything that you can imagine paying for out there, you can bargain, especially if you're Mexican, it makes everything better. And I actually went and I asked one of the guys for a price on a bag that I saw, and I really liked it, and so I was like, hey, I asked him in English, I said, how much would you sell this to me for? And he gave me one price, and I was like, okay, so then I started speaking Spanish, and I asked him the same question again. I was like, well, how much would you give this to me for? And then he cut it down to way below half of what he had just told me when I spoke English. And he even said, like, oh, if you speak Spanish, it just makes everything better. And he was telling me that they really like white people absolutely. So I learned to never speak English in Mexico again. Now as a result of being taught how to live the Mexican way and living it for 19 years of my existence and putting tapatio on just about everything and anything, I've grown to become the person I am today, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Really?